Is your relationship worth saving? I get asked this question a lot, as you might imagine. Couples or individuals will call and contact me and wonder, how do I know if I should do this work or if I should just get out or what should I do? And here's my answer. The fact that you're calling and asking means to me that you want to save it. That some part of you thinks it is worth saving, or you would just be done. There's certain things that happen that you just would not be able to come back from, and you'd be done, and that would be it. Everyone has that breaking point. So the fact that you're asking means you do want to work on the relationship. Here's the thing. Wanting it and doing the work are two different things. And there's something really important you have to do, which is you have to make a full commitment. So I have people come to me sometimes and say, oh, we're going to see how this couples therapy thing works, and then we're going to decide if we want to stay in the relationship. And I'm like, you can't do it that way. You have to really go in as, we're going to stay together. I'm putting all my eggs in this basket right now. I am all my energy, everything. And if down the line that doesn't happen for some reason or whatever, you'll know. But if you already have that in mind, the tools aren't going to work, and you're just going to end up sort of dragging out the problem and dragging out the relationship. And you're probably going to blame therapy or something else as the reason it didn't work, when that's not the reason. Here's the reason. So our conscious brains process information at a rate of 40 to 50 bits per second. Your conscious brain, what you're thinking all the time. Your unconscious brain processes information at a rate of 11 million bits per second. I know, crazy, right? So that means that most of what's happening is happening unconsciously or subconsciously. Most of what you're reacting to, why you do what you do, all of those things are coming from a place that you're not even aware of. So here's what often happens. I will give you this scenario. Someone contacts me and says, I want to work on the relationship, and comes into the office, and I give them some great tool. I'm like, okay, start with this tool, go home, work on your relationship with this tool. And they're in my office going, oh, they feel motivated, inspired. I'm very inspiring. They feel like, okay, I got this. I want to go do this. I'm feeling strong. But as they're driving home, that starts to dwindle, usually pretty quickly for most folks, or very soon after. And the doubts start sneaking in. Well, really, this little tool? I mean, come on, Abby, my problems are way big. This little tool isn't going to make a dent. Or, our problems have been going on a long time. It's going to take a really long time to change, not in a few weeks. That's crazy. Or again, or all the ors, you're a unicorn in some way in your relationship, and everyone doesn't understand. It's really different for you, and this isn't going to work. Or you're just in that head, I'm worried that, I'm concerned that, I'm frustrated about, all that fear talk is in your subconscious, roosting. So you go home, okay, you use the tool with your partner. You use this new tool, and you start talking different or whatever the tool is, and your partner notices they're like something different, but they're picking up on all of your doubt, all of your anxiety, your worry, your resentment maybe that's still bubbling up. They pick up on that. So they see you kind of doing this thing, but they're picking up on this other thing. And again, usually unconsciously, they're not even realize they're thinking this. Sometimes they realize it, but often not. They're thinking, well, yeah, she's acting nice now, but let's see how long that's going to last. And they kind of sit back and don't do anything different because they can feel that this isn't real. They can feel that you're going to give up really quickly, because it seems that way, because your energy is all tentative and worried and anxious and not full love, not full in. And sure enough, a few days go by, you've been using the tool, maybe even a whole week, although usually it doesn't go that long, before you give up. And then you go, oh, this does not work. And then you come back in my office and tell me that my tool doesn't work. And that's not true. My tool does work. The problem is what you were doing wasn't working. that half in, half out, that allowing all that doubt and anxiety to rule the day because you're afraid. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of being abandoned. You're afraid of being embarrassed, of being taken advantage of. I hear that one a lot, which is insane. How are you building a life with someone, having kids, buying real estate, building a life, giving them your heart, and you're afraid they're going to take advantage of you? That's nuts. So something has to give, but you have all that energy out there, they pick up on it, and boom, we're back to where we started. So if you don't make that full-on commitment, that full-on, I am doing this, there is nothing holding me back, I am going to make this work. I am going to make this work. This is going to work. Full in, full heart. Yeah, I hear you. If it doesn't work later, I guess it's going to hurt, but that's how life is. Even staying in the relationship, it'll hurt because our partners hurt us without intentionally doing it. We have pain and hurt in our lives. It's going to happen. Trying to avoid it isn't going to make it not happen. So this idea that, your ego is running the show, your little kid in you is running the show, and you got to bring in your adult to say, no, I am really going to put all this up front. Now, here's the other thing that happens when that happens. When you are fully committed, okay, so now all the gears are turning. Now, all that subconscious is lining up with your conscious, which is really good. Because the other thing that's happening all the time that you might not be aware of is something called your reticular activating system, or RAS for short. And your RAS is a filter between your conscious and your subconscious mind. And basically, when you think something consciously, it sends it as an instruction or an order to your subconscious to look for that thing that you're thinking about. So that's why whenever you've gone to buy a new car, you see that car everywhere. Even if you're just thinking about it and you're looking, you see it everywhere. Or I always give this example, every time I was pregnant, I saw pregnant women everywhere. It was like there was a population explosion. And I have to say, I don't really notice pregnant women much anymore. It's, again, that conscious thing, the car, the pregnancy, the whatever, and it is sending it to an order to look for it to your subconscious, and it starts to scan, and these things pop out of the woodwork. They pop up. They get illuminated. Now, this happens in your relationship. If you're thinking, my partner is always nagging me, you're consciously, your RAS, right, sends that as an order, an instruction to your subconscious, look for my partner nagging me. And you will find it everywhere. That's all you'll see. Every time you look up, you'll see your partner nagging you. At the same time, here's where it gets really scary, even scarier, is that your RAS will filter out anything that doesn't match what you're consciously thinking about. So when your partner is appreciative, when they're loving, when they're kind, when they're thoughtful, all the good things, when they say thank you, if you think they only nag you and they're only rude and they're only whatever, your RAS will filter that out and you will not see it. I know this sounds hard to believe, but it's the truth, and you know it's the truth because you've had this argument from your side where your partner said, you never blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what do you mean I never blah, blah, blah? I've done it 10 times. I did this, 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 and this. And you list off all the things, right? I know, I see you. You do it. You think. Well, that happens the other way. Your partner's doing that too, and that is your RAS at work, and that's their RAS at work. So when you consciously put something in there to program, what happens is you actually start to get the planets to align. And now you can really work on the relationship fully, with all heart, everything aligned, and go for it. I mean, truly go for it. And I will say this too, if you're thinking that you're going to, work on your relationship and you're going to save it and this is it, and I'm going to go for it, but then you don't make any time. I have couples do this. They come in and they say, yeah, we're going to go for it. We got it. We're there. And then I check back in with them in like 2 weeks for the next session and they haven't done their homework. It's like, how have you made this a priority? How have you set this out front? You have to make it a priority. And I will tell you, for about 3 months. It takes about 3 months to change a habit, an average of 66 days from the research. So I say 3 months. If you can't put your relationship first for 3 months, if everything else is more important, the kids, your job, everything else, well, then there you go. Then that's what you're going to end up with. Whatever is really important to you is where you have to put your energy and time. That's really what it's about. So one of the little tips you can do is setting intention, which I'm going to link below somewhere to my 18-second shift video on how to set intention. I want to give that its own goods, but you can learn how to set intention, which is a great, perfect tool. It takes 18 seconds on average to use to program that RES towards where you want it to go all day. So that's it. That's what I want you to think about. Is your relationship worth saving? If you're asking it, it probably is at least worth your full 100% love effort, and it's time to put it in. I'm Dr. Abby Medcalf. I help people create lasting change in their relationships, even if their partner or anybody else won't do a thing.